Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Fat Black Woman Podcast. My name is Deanna Williams, creator and host of Fat Black Woman Podcast, and this is my inaugural episode. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you will find this entertaining, informative, educational, and at times funny. This is my very first podcast ever, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I did a taping before, and it was great, except I didn't have any sound. So now, hopefully, I have sound, and we can get into it. So, Fat Black Woman Podcast. Why did I name my podcast Fat Black Woman? Why in the world would anybody embrace Fat Black Woman as a podcast? Well, I'll tell you, it's quite simple. I was inspired by a reporter who, by the name of Emel Dara Adolphus, who wrote an article for the Daily Beast, and the title of that article was Trump Rages About Fat Black Women in Revenge Rant. This article came out on August 23rd, and apparently Trump was really upset, enraged by yet another black woman who dared to thwart his efforts to cause some kind of chaos or tyranny that was just going to dismantle some kind of system that had been put in place by our forefathers or people who know far better than he. And this time it was Lisa Cook. She's a Federal Reserve Bank governor, a highly qualified individual, black woman. And Trump was angry with her and really upset that there was nothing he could do about this woman, this black woman, who knew what her job was, knew what her position was secure in her education, and the information that she possessed was secure in her capabilities, was in no way threatened by Trump, and was aware of the fact that her abilities made him insecure. So she wasn't the first black woman, to thwart Trump's efforts. There was Fani Willis, who was the first prosecutor and a black woman to force Trump to fly to Fulton County, Georgia for a mugshot. There was New York Attorney General Letitia James, who oversaw the prosecution and conviction of 34 felonies, which he forced him to be the first felon president of the United States. There was the Honorable Judge Tanya Chutkan, who was presiding over his federal cases here in D.C., and the list goes on. We can see and we know that Trump has a disdain for intelligent, strong, secure black women who will not be threatened, who will not kowtow or capitulate to him, and that for him is a problem, as it's a problem for many white men who come in contact with secure, smart, intelligent, powerful black women. So I took the article and I took the rant and I decided to embrace it, and I came up with Fat Black Woman. Well, FAT is PHAT, which is an acronym which stands for provocative, heightened, audacious, and transformative, because the women that I mentioned are just that, but black women as a whole are provocative, heightened, audacious, and transformative when we want to be. And we've demonstrated it from the time that our feet touched the shores and even beyond, when we were queens and warriors and even kings in some cases in Africa. So I want to use this platform to highlight that, but also to bring about awareness of many of the things that we discuss as black women intimately. Not necessarily to talk about things that we should only talk about in the family, but to bring up the things that are often ignored or overlooked that need to be brought into the forefront. So that's one of the reasons that I brought this platform, or am bringing this to the forefront. I want to talk about the things that bother us, or bother me, I should say, that are in politics or in entertainment, that are in the news, in terms of how the news is being communicated, who's communicating the news, where it's being communicated from, how our fourth state, which is journalism, has failed us, how our politicians, black, white, and indifferent, have failed us, Republican and Democrat, and even independents have failed us, and where do we go from here? Again, keep in mind, these are my opinions, only my opinions. I want to talk about how we are representing ourselves, just globally and domestically. You know, how we want to be seen versus what we project out there, and how we are being seen, and who represents us, in terms of the global perspective of Black people across the board. And then I want to talk about the fun things, and just how we live, and how we love, and how we laugh, and those that are culturally ours, our schools, our ways, our way of dress, just Black people in general. And then, of course, for the most part, as vain as it sounds, I'll be talking about me, my friends, my relationship, my dogs, my dog. I only have one dog. I don't have more than one dog. My career as a public relations, as it was when I started. It's now communications, whatever it is. My journey in that, my journey in unemployment, which is sad and laughable at the same time. My experiences in corporate America as a fat Black woman, PHAT, and even before that, as a fat Black woman, FAT, my struggle with being fat and what that did to my self-esteem, or what it didn't do to my self-esteem and my ego. I want to talk about my friends and some of the things that they're going through without naming any names, and some of our fantastic voyages and journeys that we've had together. I want to talk about religion. I have serious questions that I'm hoping I can put out there, that might be perceived as controversial. Again, these are all my questions, comments, concerns, commentary, opinions. Yes, I know, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them, and they generally stink, mine included. But this is my Fat Black Woman podcast, so I'm going to put it out there. Thanks to social media, that we do have these platforms to say what we want to say, and whether people want to listen or not, we can still put it out there. And if I say anything that offends, my goal is not to offend. My goal is to speak my truth. My goal is to present my challenges to things and to people I disagree with. If you disagree with me, that is perfect. That it's fine. You can say, Deanna, I disagree with you. This is why I disagree with you. This is where I think you should get your education. That is fine. I will respect that, I will appreciate that, and I will follow up. And if I have to, if I'm wrong about something, or if I change my mind, I will go on air or wherever and admit that I was wrong, that I educated myself, and that I changed my mind. I will not, however, tolerate any type of violence or disparaging remarks or racism or bigotry or self-hate. I will not. I will not tear down, and I will not allow anyone else to tear down on this platform. This is a place where it may not always be positive. It definitely won't be negative, and it definitely won't be negative for our people. We have enough of that, and I will not perpetuate that on this platform or anywhere else where I stick my face. If I have something that I feel needs to be addressed as it relates to our community, I will do my very best to make it positive and to make it informative and to give a resolution as to how it can be adjusted. Otherwise, you just become a talking head that is trying to make a name for itself or present or just being coonish and sambo-ish. And I've seen that on other platforms, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be seen as someone who's about to tear down and not uplift. And if I do become that, by all means, call me on the carpet. And anybody, all of my friends and all of my family, if you know them, they'll be the first ones to do that. So again, I want this to be an open forum. I do welcome comments and call outs and concerns, and, questions and anything that you want to know about me, please ask. I'm not saying that I will answer your questions about me because some might be a little personal, but I am saying that I'll do my best. And no topic is off limits. We're going to talk about the things that I am concerned with. We go on and on about how Black people are not a monolith. Well, Black women are probably the most complex women in the world, fat Black women. So we're going to talk about things that concern me, that I believe concern other people. So we're going to talk about weight. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about food and how to deal with, or how I've dealt with threatened white people or threatened black people or threatened anybody who I've come into contact over the course of my career, and how I've dealt with them and how I've been successful and how I've not been successful. We're going to talk about things that we see on the internet that just don't make any sense to us, and how we need to address them and inform, but sometimes we just need to shut it down. Not always do we have to go high because they go low. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of it. Love Michelle Obama, not taking anything away from her, but I'm tired of going high because they go low. I kind of want to go straight forward, and I think it's time that we do that. And I'm going to address that, and I'm going to take this opportunity that I have because I have much time on my hands. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am currently unemployed. I have been looking for employment, career employment, which is much different from a job. But I've been looking for employment for some time now. I've been unemployed for about 2 years, since 2023. I left a position that I had with an agency here in DC. It just was not the right fit for me. One, because it was not the right fit for me, but two, my dad was ill and I wanted to take care of him, and I also wanted to travel, which I did. And I came back and I took care of my dad, and my dad has since passed on, and, took care of some of the things that I needed to take care of within the probate of settling my father's estate, and started looking for jobs. And I promise you, I am great at looking for jobs, at filling out resumes and applications and all that other stuff. Haven't found a job yet. And that is a blow to the ego, and my self-esteem hit a low. That's not really good when you suffer from depression like I do. And I want to talk about that in my depression and the highs and the lows. And that was one of the reasons, in addition to the article, that I wanted to start Fat Black Woman, because it gave me an outlet. It gave me something to do. Sitting in my home, and I'm fortunate and blessed to have one, sitting in my home day in and day out, just only talking to my dog, was not the ideal scenario for me. When my friends were working, and I don't hold that against them. I have to admit there was a little bit of jealousy there, but not to block their blessing just because I didn't have that. But I needed something to do. So when this came to me to do this podcast, I kind of ran with it. I started off with doing posts, and I will still continue to do posts because I got to get my face and stuff out there. So when you see something like it, you know how they say, see something, say something, see something, like it, comment, share with your friends, that type of thing, so I can get out there. But just taking the time to post something that's on my mind. The wonderful thing about social media is it's forgotten right after somebody scrolls through it. So if I make a mistake or say something stupid, it's really not remembered. And at this point, I don't have that many followers, so I don't really have to think about going viral or being canceled, because who subscribed anyway? But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, Fat Black Woman is a an outlet for me to do something, to have a purpose while I wait for God to show me my purpose. But part of, like I was saying, was this depression pointed me in this direction where I needed to have an outlet. So I'll be talking more about that as the episodes go on. You just saw me move forward. I have Jaja, my dog, my fur baby, who I love dearly. And whenever she hears another dog in the neighborhood, she feels that she needs to communicate with them. So it's a bark, 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 bark situation. So I just had to grab her to let her know that she cannot bark. And she really wants to. And I'll talk about Jaja too. I love her. She's my second love of my life. The first one being my husband, who I will talk about, and you probably hear him in the background. He's singing. That boy has talent. Yes, he does, and he'll tell you if you ask. Also, one of the things that inspired Fat Black Woman was my collection of fat black women. I love mammies. Mammies to me are strong and beautiful, and were it not for mammies who nurtured and raised and fed this country, we would not be here, all of us. Mammy was smart enough to play dumb in some instances, to raise her children and to educate her children, while she was raising and nursing the children of her enslavers. So I just want to honor Mammy. I don't look at Mammy as being someone that we should shun or disparage. She did what she had to do, like so many of us. So, we're going to pay homage to Mammy back there. I hope that as the podcast goes on and develops to have guests, some of them will be my friends, I hope. Some of them will be new people. Perhaps I'll be on other people's podcasts. I don't know. But I do want to also shout out in this inaugural, or in this launch, some of the other content creators who have inspired me to put my face out there and put my thoughts out there. There's Just Nene, or Talk Your Shit Nene, who gives a raw, unfiltered account of the news and the current events that are going on. She's out of Atlanta. She talks about her own personal issues, her struggles with mental health. Joy Reid, who did not let her dismissal from MSNBC stop her from reporting the news and providing us with commentary and educating us and forcing us to look into what's going on in the world. Don Lemon doing the same. Those who are taking the fourth state and legacy media to task and countering them with the things, with the news that we need to know. I also want to thank Fox News, because were it not for them and their very radical right-wing slant on the news, I wouldn't be as interested in what's going on in the world. They definitely Fox definitely has a special view that of the news and the way they broadcast for those baskets of deplorables who are not so educated and want to remain educated and stuck in groupthink. So I want to use my time in this platform to help. I don't necessarily want to say dispel, but encourage people to do their own investigations. I am not here to tell you what to think. I am here to ask you to think. So, with that, as I said, my very first episode, I am so excited about it. I ask that you bear with me. Hopefully, with each episode, I'll get better at this. But this is who I am. I look forward to working with you or having you listen to me, dialoguing, interacting, interfacing with you, because I think this is going to be fun. And I really do want to get to know more people and hear more about what's going on outside of my world and outside of, who I follow, because it's really important to have a global view. It's really important to have an understanding of others so that we can treat each other kindly and understand different perspectives and different points of views. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Please definitely share this with others, and I hope that you'll join me for the next episode. Peace and love.